Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, shall we wait for 5 minutes?
Yeah, nobody has joined.
Yes, ma'am. I informed sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Madam?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. You can start the class now.
Okay, fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so good afternoon, students. So today, as we have discussed in the last session about certain cases in AI, so I thought let me focus on the AI today. Some cases. Let us. Last time I gave an introduction about AI, and I gave you a few examples also in our day-to-day life. How do we use AI? Now, today I'm going to take you to the certain cases which companies have used in certain specific field or industry. And these are certain very unique cases which you will not find so easily on the net. It is there, but the thing is that you have to search a lot and then you get these cases. These cases are also taught in IIT basically. So some of my friend who are basically professors in IIT, they have given me the cases on AI when I started my journey in learning AI. So there are certain very choosed cases which I use to make you people understand how AI is used by industry, because your work is to develop AI solution, but you are the people who should have an idea that what kind of application you can develop and what are the possibility of AI that you can use and you can develop one particular application. So today I will start with one particular case study which is very unique in the nature and I like it most. I use it always in my classes, and this is about a very unique application of AI and a company who has used that for a different company. So I'm without further delay, I'm going to share that with you. So just give me a few seconds. Okay. Okay. So let me first share the screen, students, and then I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to also post the link so that you can go through the study in in detail, and you can also find out that how AI has helped in this particular situation, which is very unique in nature. So this case study is very unique. So this case study is all about, can AI help in protecting the endangered species? Is it possible that you can protect an endangered species? So there's a company called SAS Vidya. This is a US based company, and they're specialized in developing AI solution for their client. So one of their client, which is wildlife, trackers, they are the people. They are NGOs, and their work is to protect the endangered species from extinction. So they came out with this particular, they approached SAS Vidya AI company to help them in developing a solution to uh, help protecting this animal from extinction. And you may be surprised that how AI can do that. AI can do something physically like creating a database or analyzing a database or creating a model to train to do some kind of expertise, develop set of expertise. Now, what kind of expertise this particular case study wanted, or this particular solution using AI wanted? So the answer lie, how do you protect? So they carried out this particular project for cheetah. The cheetah is okay. So cheetah animal basically is a on the extinction. So I'm going to show you some figure before I show you the solution that what they have done. So we need to know the problem before, in any case study, the first point is understand the problem, the client problem or whatever problem it is, and then try to find out a solution. And after you find out a solution, find whether what kind of technology can felicitate that particular kind of solution for that problem. So the problem here is that they wanted to find out that how many cheetahs are left in South Africa jungle, which is one of the biggest, habitat for cheetah, and how many are left, how many can be, protected from the thing. So I'm just going to, before I go ahead, I'll just show you a video about the problem, and then we can go ahead and we can find out this. So let's look at this video first. So before going to the video, also we need to know they also did certain kind of research before going to the company, and they found that the cheetah population has been seen declining by 93% in the last 10 years. Cheetahs are no longer found in 76% of their former habitat throughout Africa, which is the largest habitat for cheetah. Cheetah are, normally they are killed by poachers for their the skin, the leather which they get it from there, And also there are highly sought after cheetah's cub which are smuggled in Africa. So 1 out of 6 cubs, of cheetah are basically smuggled, or they may die, they may not survive. So that is the reason of the extinction of cheetah. So now I will just show you the thing. So I'm going to just show you a video and then we will go ahead. It's going to take time to buffer. Before it is buffering, let me tell you a little bit about it. That South African jungle, this particular NGO, they tied up with the South Africa government to help them in protecting the cheetah. So they did certain research and found that why these cheetah population is dying, or sorry, not surviving, because one of the reason is poaching. The other reason is illegal smuggling of the cheetah cub, and also the so how to protect them in such a large area. So the problem was that, let us find out, they wanted to find out a solution where they wanted to know that where how many cheetah are there in one particular area, and how to where are they located, and how to put a kind of a surveillance system to protect them from poaching or smuggling or from killing, illegal killing. So for that, that was actually in it, the challenge was to find out where they are living, because it's the animal is always hidden, you can't find out in a big area where these animals, and they are fewer in number. So what they did is they took the help of indigenous trackers. Indigenous trackers are those people who are basically into, just give me a second.
My name is Lisa. I like living in Namibia because Namibia is beautiful.
You able to hear the sound of the video? Can somebody tell me? Yes or no?
There are all the animals and plants. There are some people who want to kill animals like the lions and cheetahs. I like to teach them. There are not many left.
"100 years ago, we had somewhere in the region of 100,000 cheetahs in the world. Today, the number stands at just 7,100. And these are flagship species. As they disappear, they represent the disappearance of a huge chunk of the biodiversity that goes with them.
Biodiversity is what supports all the things that we need as humans, and yet it's disappearing much faster than any of us realise. One way that we've started approaching monitoring of endangered species is to look at their footprints. Yeah, look, I think we've got something here. That's cheetah, definitely. We've learned.
Okay, so the solution was to find out where these cheetahs are, and how can they protect them in that place without disturbing them. So the solution was to in order to find out where these cheetahs are and where they are headed to, they took the help of the tribal people. You can see this person. He is called the indigenous tracker. Indigenous tracker means a person who has lived throughout his life in the jungle, and he has an expertise to know about the cheetahs or about all the animals, their location, and he can tell, looking at the footprint of the footprint, that which animal footprint it is. Not only he can tell that whether this is a cheetah footprint, he can also tell that whether it's a male or female cheetah or a cub, what is the age and where they are headed to. And from that, he can also tell that maybe there is a possibility of finding these cheetah in this particular location, in the acres and acres of forest area. So those are indigenous tracker who has this expertise. They're not trained. They have not gone to school where they have been trained by a teacher or by the school teacher or the college teacher, or they have developed a kind of expertise through formal education system. They have developed this particular expertise by experience, and that particular experience and expertise is something which the company wanted to borrow and implement and train the AI model. Okay, so let's go ahead and see.
From working with indigenous trackers over many years in Africa, that we can use footprints to identify species, age class, individuals, and sex. Do you have any thoughts about whether it's male or female? What do you think?
It's not so big.
Right.
It means that it's a female.
Right.
So it's interesting that our algorithm is picking up some of the things that you're doing in your mind, right?
We came up with a mathematical model, and this is where SAS comes in, starting with importing images, and then we use those to derive the metrics.
So what they have done, they started picking up the pictures of the footprint of cheetahs, thousands and thousands of pictures which are available. Live picture, they took a picture of that, live from the ground, live from the location, and they created a database of that. See, students, you might have learned till now that AI doesn't work without data. It needs historical data to build that kind of learning, that what we call in technical languages, either a supervised or unsupervised learning. So it basically need a data to learn. The data is just like an experience for us. Now, how does it work? Just like human learning system. In human being, what happens? In human being, we learn certain things. See, just like AI, we have supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. Last time also I told you, supervised learning means we learn certain things specifically in schools or in colleges, where we develop those knowledge in a formal way, in a supervision of a teacher or maybe your parents. Those are called supervised learning built into you. Then there is something called unsupervised learning, which has a majority of learning contribution to your knowledge system. Maybe around 60% is unsupervised learning in us, and that come to us from our experience. The experience can be from our failure, can be from our mistakes, can be from success, can be from our surrounding, from our friends, from our peers, so many things which we build up. And that particular is called unsupervised learning. Nobody's training you on that. And the third one is called reinforcement, which I think I explained in the last class, that reinforcement is about, carrot and stick method, that you either give a reward or punishment. So reinforcement learning is a very high order learning. When we implement this in the case of your AI, so AI has all these three learning and try to imitate how a human being learn in supervision, in non-supervision, and reinforcement. So same thing, they try to build same kind of a learning system. They want to build it into a computer system. And for that, what they do is, they basically, this is a kind of a supervised learning. So in a supervised learning, the entire, learning comes from a data which is labeled. So the labeled data is fed. So what is the labeled data in this case? In this case, the labeled data is the footprint of the cheetah, which is recognized by the trackers, indigenous tracker, and these are picked up and fed into the system, AI system, which has the model built and trained. So AI model is now trained on this cheetah and a knowledge-based system, which they have derived and they've understood from the indigenous tracker and from the various expertise. And they built a knowledge-based system, an expert system. So what has happened, the data with the knowledge-based system act as a model to train the AI and to make them do certain things with the indigenous tracker can do, which the expert can do by looking at something, right? So that's one thing. So they started picking up the pictures, a lot of pictures from going with the indigenous tracker to all the places, identifying the cheetah footprint, and they started feeding that into the AI.
Which then allows us to do the analysis.
We're depending on data and analytics to protect these animals, and now we're beginning crowdsourcing from around the world. So ordinary people...
Now, The AI has one very important, point to remember, that AI system work with good accuracy if you feed more and more data, volume of data, variety of data. Two principles: volume and variety of data. So if you want the system, the AI model to be trained well with giving you accurate prediction, then in that case, the data which you're feeding, in this case, it is an image of the footprint of the cheetah, which you're feeding should be high in volume and should also have varieties of angles. So for a variety of shapes, angles, and all these varieties of situation, like maybe in the grass, the cheetah, or maybe footprint, or maybe on the water, mudded water footprint, or dry area footprint, whatever, light or strong footprint, every kind of picture is required. Now, it is not possible for them to go and collect these thousands and lakhs of pictures. So what they did, they asked, because it's an NGO, they collaborated with the other NGO and asked them from different part of the world, wherever the cheetah habitats are there and wherever the wildlife photographers are active, they asked them to collect this photo and do. So they did something called crowdsourcing. And through crowdsourcing, they got multiple images of the cheetah in thousands and thousands.
Who wouldn't necessarily be able to dart a rhino, but they can take an image of a footprint. We've got data coming in from everywhere, too many data for us to manage traditionally, and that's really where artificial intelligence comes in.
The big question is, can artificial intelligence do what indigenous trackers can do?
When we see an indigenous tracker look at a footprint, we realize there's a huge gulf between that and what machine intelligence is currently able to do. It's just millions of years of evolution that have allowed us to be able to identify these patterns. And it's a big challenge in image processing.
Identifying footprints was a very tedious process to be able to sort and classify them. So to be able to take that one task that's a repetitive task and automate it seemed like a natural fit for an AI solution. And it required a lot of expertise and insight from Zoe and Sky to help us train the computer to categorize the footprints the same way a human tracker would.
So essentially what the heat map is attempting to do is to pick up those edges.
This heat map is kind of visualizing what our deep learning model is looking at and just thinking that part of images is important to distinguish it's a cheetah print or a tiger print.
So now, there is a similarity between a cheetah and a tiger footprint. So what they have done, when the lot of pictures in the form of image data, when they feed it to train the AI model, they created an algorithm to create a heat map. The heat map, the red and the black color, the yellow part of it, the heat map basically tried to differentiate between the footprint pattern and identify or classify whether it's a cheetah or a tiger footprint. That is what they are saying.
The red section is a bit that's actually standing out as representing the footprint.
Yeah, because we are predicting the footprint. So we overlay this.
Getting 100% accuracy in this project is very challenging, but we'll get there. For this one, we need more data, and we need more scientists to contribute to this project so that we can really solve this problem.
I'm excited about the potential of artificial intelligence because I think that one of the hugest challenges we face is how to protect our planet, our ecosystem. And the way that we can solve it is by bringing in data from all parts of the world in a hugely magnified scale, much more than we have at the present. These data have incredible value in conservation. If we don't know where the animals are and how many there are, we can't begin to do things like working out where animals should be protected, looking at animal-human conflict. These are all global conservation questions that conservation biologists all over the world need answers to.
I think we exist in a world today trying to use artificial intelligence. And our challenge is how to harness this in order to answer some of the most fundamental questions and create an environment where there's room for us and all the rest of the species in this world.
So you can go to student the site, SAS, and you can read a lot of cases, real world cases, what solution this particular company, it's an AI company, what solution they have made. There are a lot of case studies on that. I like this case a lot. That's why I picked up this case. But I'll just navigate through the site and show you that regarding this case also another case. So what we discussed was it that how they created a kind of a solution with AI to recreate some of the skills which is used by the tracker to build that expertise, and how they have used this data and computer to train just like a human being are trained for by identifying the footprint images, recognizing the pattern, just like how the indigenous trackers, those tribal people can do, and helping basically these company to protect this endangered species. So this is what they have done. So I'm going to just show you a little more about it. So the model which they created, the training model which they created was called FIT, the Wildlife Footprint Identification Technique. So that's a tool which is a non-invasive. Non-invasive means they don't have to cut, or they don't have to, pull the or take the soil on which the print is made. They just have to take a picture of that. The digital image of the footprint is for non-invasive. So without disturbing the footprint altogether. And the measurement from these images, they have used a mathematical model to identify the species, the sex, the age class, and also with the algorithm, they can predict that where they could be found or where they might be located, so that they can provide a kind of a surveillance to protect them from poaching and from illegal killing and all. Okay, so I'm going to show you the solution here. So you can go to the site, students, SAS Vidya site. I'll just put up the URL of the site. So artificial intelligence, this is their site of the company, the SAS Vidya company. So they have a lot of cases. You can even try certain OpenAI's platform which they have. So a lot of things like they use NLP. So maybe if I get some sessions with you, I may talk about computer vision. I may talk about computer vision is about image, processing, or maybe about text processing, text data, image data, or video data, all those kinds for forecasting, for prediction. So you have a lot of cases over here. We can go through these, and this is really a very good site. I always recommend my students, even I keep on reading this certain things which are there in the site. It helps me in gaining the good knowledge about what is happening in the world. Let me just. So last time I was in this, so I'm just going to scroll and go to the cases now. We have discussed about certain cases. So I'm going to talk about some cases in medical. Okay, So last time, if students, if you remember, I spoke about the lung cancer, the Google Nature Medicine case, and I told you about that how lung cancer has a highest mortality in all over India, including a very developed nation like US, and how they have used the AI to basically diagnose lung cancer at an early stage, which was not possible by a human radiologist, but AI could do that. And they can reduce the mortality. They had reduced with mortality by 43%. That's a great achievement. So one more case, which is like a project, which I'm going to tell you, because see, as a student life, you're supposed to do a lot of projects. You're supposed to apply for patent. You're supposed to publish your paper. That is how you can build your profile and you will be sought after. You don't have to run after the job. The company will run after you. So one of the, and how these big universities across the world, like for example, Stanford and MIT, what they do differently from the other universities and educational institute, they basically make it compulsory for the students to come out with a project, real-time project. Otherwise, they can't pass the course, especially for engineering. So you can, I'm going to develop about a project which students in the Stanford has done. And so what Stanford has done, they came out with a particular problem and they wanted to find a solution for that problem. And the solution was to how to help blind people travel alone with confidence without injuring themselves and without meeting with an accident. Now they found this particular case that there are a lot of things which are available in for the blind people across the world. That there are sticks which are available. There are a lot of things which has come out. Some of the people use the cane. Some of the people have in US they used guided dog, which can protect them from injury. But when it comes to navigating the path to a route to go to a certain place, which is very familiar and which is routine, where they have traveled most of the time alone or with somebody, they can somehow do it very slowly. But then that also becomes something where they are subjected to a lot of injuries and accident. So how to avoid that? So the Stanford student researchers, they have developed a kind of a prototype which is called the augmented cane. And this augmented cane was decided, and they did this project in 2021, mostly when the corona was hitting. That was the time when they did this project, and they created a smart cane which will help these blind people walk faster with a greater confidence and avoid injury. And for that, they wanted to come out with this particular cane with AI inbuilt system. And the AI cannot work without data. So how will it collect the data and guide the person? For that, they came out with, they created a cane with sensors, a lidar system, a camera, with a, like just like a Google driverless car has a lidar, a 360-degree rotating camera, and also the sensors, which can, various kinds of sensors to measure the distance between the user and the object around him. And also the cane has a GPS, accelerometer, magnetometer, just like a smartphone. What they have a lot of things. They had a monitor, they have a voice, speaker, which can guide, because a person can't look at the monitor and see. They have speed sensors, they have direction sensors, which is all integrated with each other. So the cane was helping the blind person to take decision, and the decisions was guided by the AI system, just like a robotic algorithm. And what it does was it basically guides the user to avoid an collision with an object, and it will tell how to travel, in what speed, where is the crossing, and what kind of danger it might face. It gives a particular guidance, just like a driverless car. So the digital camera and the sensors, the digital camera will take the picture of all the objects, even including the stop sign on the signals. And it is fed into the AI model in the software. The AI model will decode the image and send an audio message to the user. So this sensors were there, the like GPS, accelerometer, and magnetometer. What they're going to do is they're going to take the data about the nearby signals or the nearby obstacles, and all kind of a thing like any object, and what is the distance, what's the kind of a speed and everything. And they can feed that data and into the AI, and then AI take a decision on the basis of sensor data and on the basis of image data from the uh, camera. And the result was that, and they experimented the prototype, and they experimented with some of the blind students in the campus, and they found that these blind students now walk with 18% more faster and with the confidence than the normal cane. And the cane was also very small, lighter, and the price which they came out with was $400. And so this is how they came out with it, and now it is in the market in the US. So I'm just going to show you the video on this.
The goal is to help improve the ability of people with visual impairments to navigate and steer around obstacles, making everyday life easier.
We've developed a device which extends the abilities of the white cane by adding sensors to help perceive the environment and then relay that information to the user.
The standard cane is basically a stick. I mean, it really is a stick. The most recent innovation that I know of is that some of them fold, like this one does. But Patrick's new cane, there are sensors that detect obstacles in the user's environment. So as I'm walking, it'll detect that there's, let's say, a lamppost or a corner or a trash can or something that I'm about to bump into, and it'll sort of nudge me away from it as I start to approach it.
We have a LiDAR, which measures distance to the object around the person. We have GPS, which measures the position in the outdoor setting. We have an inertial measurement unit, which allows us to measure the position and orientation of the person. And then we have a camera, which allows us to understand images of where they are, and so we can define key objects.
The wheel essentially kind of pulls the user left or right. So if the system says, okay, the user needs to navigate to the right, they need to turn right, the wheel will start spinning to the right, and you'll feel it as if someone's pulling you in that direction.
For sighted individuals, after about 5 minutes of training, they found a 38% improvement in terms of walking speed. For much more experienced users, for visually impaired individuals, they found a 18% improvement in terms of walking speed. And this can provide a significant improvement in terms of their quality of life due to improved mobility.
This project leverages sensors developed for autonomous vehicles and also AI and algorithms developed for safe vehicle driving.
And it's really neat to be able to see ideas from this industry percolate to other domains, including the creation of this walking cane.
We published it open source so that other people can build the system and make it available. I think it has the potential to make people's lives a lot easier.
I see the improved cane as like a really nice step forward. I think it could be a much improved experience, especially for navigating environments that I'm less familiar with. It would be really helpful.
Okay. So the next very best example of AI is what we all have gone through it. None of the people in the world have not experienced it at present, because this is all I'm talking about, the COVID-19. So how during the COVID-19, there was an effort by all the government, all the country to create a vaccine. And there were a lot of pharmaceutical company, a lot of scientists, or a lot of even the technology company who came together to work together to find out a better solution for developing a vaccine against this disease. So there's a company called Moderna. And Moderna is a company which is an American biotech company. And they used AI to accelerate the development of mRNA vaccine for corona. So we all remember the very important date in the history, which has become a historical date now in a negative sense, which is January 11, 2020, when China declared that there is a genome of virus which is spread, and it was called COVID-19. So by February 24, when they declared in January, and by February, 44 days later, Moderna basically developed a kind of a vaccine. But because the vaccine has to go certain kinds of regulation and approvals, it took a year for them to develop and got it approved. So they developed it as the faster than anybody else in the world. And they also told the entire world that what is a solution for developing a vaccine for this unknown virus. Okay, so this company was again founded by a few students in Cambridge in 2010, and it's a first digital biotech company in the world. Let me tell you about that. It's called Moderna. So Moderna is the first digital biotech company in the US, and they use AI to find out the solution for any unknown viruses or disease. So in this case, they came out with something called mRNA technology. So now what is mRNA? I'll just give you a few description before I will show you the video. So what happens in our body, you know that we are made up of DNA and all. So our body, there is one mRNA molecule which is produced by the cell. And this particular mRNA give instruction to ribosome, which is called the body factory, to create a certain kind of protein, not all kind of protein. Okay, so the DNA has mRNA. mRNA, M stands for messenger RNA. So mRNA is just like a software code which comes from DNA, and it sends an instruction. It just carries an instruction to the ribosome in our cell. Every cell of our body has a ribosome. So take that instruction to the ribosome of the cell, and through that instruction, the ribosome produce a particular kind of protein which is instructed by mRNA. That's the work of the mRNA. Now, what Moderna did, they wanted to create a synthetic mRNA outside the body. This is naturally produced. Now, and they wanted to insert that into a kind of a lipid protein envelope and inject it in the form of vaccine. But why this is? Because let me tell you, what happens, all of you know that it was very vastly discovered, the entire world community scientists discovered the structure and the characteristic of the coronavirus. And the characteristic is that the coronavirus is basically have a very strong protein shell. And inside this protein shell is the coronavirus. And that was the reason why we were told that wash your hand for at least 1 minute very rigorously. So that because with a detergent, this particular protein shell will dissolve and the coronavirus will die. Unlike any other virus, this particular virus is protected in the protein shell, and because of that, its lifespan increases. And they can stay in the body and multiply. Virus means what? Multiplication. One virus can multiply and produce thousands of viruses, which can infect an organ. So in this case, it was lungs. So this particular virus has the ability to stay for a longer time duration and produce multiple viruses. So the only way to deal with this particular virus is to dissolve the body, the protein body. And once that body is dissolved, the virus within the body will become little weak and it will not infect anything. It will not be able to produce the other viruses. So this was a simple reason how they can deal, because see, and also the other real is like the mRNA. So what they could do is they can produce the synthetic mRNA outside the body and will code it with certain kind of instruction and put it in the vaccine. And when it is injected, what it will do is it will create a kind of a protein which will go and understand the protein around the virus body, if the virus is present, and dissolve it, decapsulate it. So the virus inside it, what will happen is they will become weak, they will not reproduce, and they will die. So this is just like cleaning the data using a particular kind of a thing. So they wanted to do this. And that's how they build an AI model to develop, to do clinical trials also. They managed it with, firstly, with kinds of animal trials, and they didn't get permission to do it on a human trial. That's the reason why it took so much of time. And this particular company is basically on AWS Cloud. So let us look at the video and see how it worked.
The U.S. authorization of 2 COVID-19 vaccines marked a turning point in the pandemic and vaccine science. These vaccines use messenger RNA, or mRNA, to deliver immunity. mRNA are short strands of instructions used to build proteins. It's impossible for these mRNA vaccines to alter our DNA in any way. Although that technology has been in development for decades, mRNA vaccines hadn't made it to market until now. There are a few ways to make a vaccine. Most use a version of the pathogen they are trying to protect you against, like the flu or measles, to trigger an immune response. You can think of vaccines like a biological wanted poster. They show our bodies how to recognize the enemy, an antigen such as a harmful virus or bacteria, so we know how to react if it ever shows up. Our bodies will be prepared to send T cells to attack infected cells, and B cells to produce antibodies, which neutralize the virus and prevent it from invading healthy cells. mRNA vaccines use innovative technology to deliver protection. If traditional vaccines deliver wanted posters, these vaccines carry USB drives with instructions that tell our cellular machinery how to print its own poster. In other words, they instruct the body to make its own antigens. In the case of the coronavirus, the antigen is the infamous spike protein that attaches to and infects your cells. These vaccines use mRNA, a molecule that our cells need to create any type of protein to introduce us to that spike. To start, researchers isolated the part of the coronavirus's genetic sequence that codes for the spike protein. Then, they put an mRNA molecule containing the code into a super tiny drug delivery system known as a lipid nanoparticle, which can enter our cells. Inside the cell, ribosomes use the code to create a protein chain that resembles the enemy, the coronavirus's spike protein. Those cells can then temporarily display a lookalike of that protein, which prompts our immune cells to respond as if it were an antigen from a traditional vaccine.
Okay. So you saw that how they have created a synthetic mRNA with the help of AI, and how they could, inject it with certain codes which will just work like a natural mRNA and contain a specific instruction to create a kind of a protein to dissolve the protein structure. Okay. Now, again, there is a very interesting case study in medical field. And this case study is about robot-assisted surgery, which is also called Da Vinci surgery. Very interesting. Da Vinci, whenever we hear the name, we always remember a big painter and a very famous painter whose photography is $1 million now. And this Da Vinci surgery is an artifact kind of a AI built surgical system, and that's how even in India it is used. I will show you a video of that. So Da Vinci surgery is used where a complex surgery is done. And in this complex surgery, what happens is the Da Vinci surgery is used as a most advanced robotic system, minimum invasive surgery. How it is, I'm going to tell you. So what happens? The Da Vinci system basically is used in surgery which require high degree of precision or control. That means control of the surgical instrument in the surgeon hand. Surgeon, after all, is a human being. It may happen that because of several factors, maybe he is not very steady and controlled. He is not able to do that. So the robotic system is used nowadays in almost all big hospitals, even in India, to benefit the patient who undergoes only 1 to 2 centimeter long incision. And this particular minimum invasive surgery means that you don't make a huge cut. For example, gallbladder removal. Gallbladder removal required a huge cut, that means across the stomach, and which will result in higher blood loss, which will result in slower healing, more days of hospital stay, and a lot of complications. But Da Vinci surgery, with the help of the Da Vinci surgery, you will require, you can do a kind of a surgery which is called minimum invasive surgery. Minimum invasive surgery means you don't have to make a huge cut. You will make a centimeter, 1 or 2 centimeter cut. and which will result in less healing, less blood loss, faster healing, shorter hospital stay. And these are all called open surgeries, right? So there is kind of an upfront investment, but all the big hospitals, even in India, are doing now, and they are promoting also a lot, which I will show you now for Apollo Hospital. So Da Vinci system has basically it is like $2 million cost, and but the annual maintenance fee is very less, and it will result in a better, accurate, and 100% successful surgery without any particular thing. And it is, and ultimately in a long run, it is a best investment. So what is happening is Da Vinci surgery is used in wide range of surgery, including cardiac, urology, gynecology, pediatric, general surgery. So post-cancer surgery in United States also are using Da Vinci surgeries now. So let us see how this Da Vinci system works. So the Da Vinci system consists of two separate parts. Okay. So the two separate connected part, one is called robotic tower with 4 arms. Okay. Let me see if it shows you. Okay, you can see here, these are robotic arms with 4 arms. I'll show you here also. You can see here, these are 4 arms. And this particular 4 arms, the 3 of that arms out of the 3 will hold the surgical instruments. Okay. And the 4th arm, so the surgical and the 4th one will hold a 3D high definition camera. So the 3 will have the surgical instruments, and one is a camera. You know, this one is a camera, high definition camera. The second section of it, which I will show you here, is, if you can see here, a doctor sitting in a console. So this is a console where the surgeons sit and operate the robot arms while looking through the stereoscopic monitors. So the additional video screen enable the member surgical team to observe. There is one more screen here. So there are 2 surgeons. They are not actually operating. Operation is done by these robotic arms. And these surgeons are controlling it through their console. They are looking inside the camera, which is inserted after doing the incision, will show the internal organ which is being operated. And the surgeon from their console will operate the arms to do the dissection, to do the stitching, do whatever they are required to do, remove the stone or whatever it is, and peel off the skin of the particular organ, remove certain kind of any kind of problems which they have. And also the other surgeon is also monitoring at the health condition. So this is how these surgeries are done. So I'll show you a video of Apollo Hospital, that how they use Da Vinci surgery. Okay, so you can just go to this particular site also, which I'm reflecting in my screen. That this is a site where you can go and you can find out about deep learning based AI solutions by Siemens Company. So now I'm going to show you also a few more cases on basically on certain more cases in agriculture field in various other very unique case studies. Would you give me some time? I'm just going to open that. Okay. So I'll show you some example in the field of agriculture now. So even in India, what are the government is doing in terms of applying AI in doing the smart agriculture? Okay. We'll go through that. Okay, let me first share it with you all. Okay. So let us look into some of the application. I'm just going to avoid this now. Okay. So let us talk about how AI is applied in agriculture. So when we talk about agriculture, the agriculture industry involved, which is the oldest industry in the civilization all over the world. India, more than 60% people are involved in this occupation. And there are a lot of challenges in this in the agriculture. And the kind of task involved in the agriculture is crop, yielding, and then how do you use the various kinds of platform in the form of the tractors or the equipments, and how technology is used in the form of getting the data from the sensors, which is used in agriculture, or maybe the camera, and getting those kinds of helping in taking the decision, or the farmer taking decisions about irrigation, about fertilizing, about the pesticide, about the when the crop is ready to be yielded, all those, what kind of crop is best for the soil testing and everything. So this is how the agriculture is being held. So when we talk about agriculture, there's a very important term in agriculture which has popped out because of the AI application in agriculture. So the AI application in the agriculture has developed an application and tool which helps the farmer to accurately control their farming, which is called control farming. And the word which is used for control farming is called precision farming. Okay. And they use something with the AI which is called predictive analytics. And with this, the farmer can do better water management, crop rotation, timely harvesting. They can also know what type of crop is best for their soil. They can go for optimum plantation, pest attack, nutrition management, and everything. So machine learning algorithm is connection with the machine images captured by the satellite and drone. So AI enabled technology predict weather condition. It will help in analyzing the crop sustainability. It will help the farmer for identifying whether there is a pest or disease or plant poor nutrition. All these kind of data like temperature, precipitation level, speed level, water rain, whether it's going to damage the crop or not. All kinds of satellite images can be used by the AI system along with the historical data to detect all these kinds of challenges which is faced by the farmers and help them in fighting against these challenges and coming out with a good expected results. Okay, so let us look into some example which in India also the companies are using. So many companies are working in improving their agriculture efficiency by using a lot of tools which has inbuilt AI system. So their product like autonomous strawberry picking machine, even in India it is used because strawberry is a very soft kind of a fruit. So if a human being plug this strawberry, because the fruit is very small and you have to use a little pressure to plug it out of the stem, what happens during when you apply the pressure with a human picker, the hand print comes on the surface of the fruit. And because of that, the surface of the fruit get little damaged. And nobody wants to buy a kind of a fruit which look little damaged on the surface. So what this machine can do is they can harvest these strawberry from the tree without making any damage to the skins of the tree. Similar thing is used in Kashmir and in Shimla also, where they have now something called apple picker from the tree. What this apple picker can do, it can recognize which are the apple which are mature. That means which are the apple which is ready to be plucked from the tree, and which is a little slightly difficult for the human being because the human being experts, what they do is they will have some expertise to identify, but still it's not so accurate. So the machine has a sensor, it has a machine vision, that means a camera, and there's an AI model which identify the location of, identify the fruit which is ready to be harvested and right kind of food to be picked. And it is a soft food picking. Again, it will also not spoil the stem because when you take it, human pickers will pluck these fruits, it may spoil the stem and the stem also come out from the tree. And it may have certain more apples on it and it will avoid that. So it will avoid the bruising, it will avoid the damaging of the stem. So these visual sensor technology and machine learning algorithm is helping these farmers to do this. Obviously, they are rich farmers because these machines are not very cheap. So this is how they do it. You can see this. The next, now when we talk about agriculture has also evolved through various kinds of evolution. So agriculture, as I said, is the oldest occupation. Like 200 years back, it used to be the only occupation in the entire world, and most of the thing was the agriculture. We have evolved into agriculture 3.0, unlike industry 5.0 now. So agriculture 1.0 was era of manual farming, which is assisted by cow, horse, or any animals which will toil the farm physically. Then industrialization happened, and which has also launched agriculture 2.0, where the farmer started using machines, replaced the human labor with the machines. And then we are now currently into agriculture 3.0, where biotechnology is giving farmer really something like genetically modified seeds. So there are new kinds of things. For example, the Pepsi, the Lay's chips which you eat, they are genetically modified potatoes, which is patented by the Pepsi, and Gujarat farmers grow that. The seeds are given by the company to them, and in the contract farming, they grow that potato. So those potatoes specifically used for getting that crunchiness in your chip. Okay, so AI is now ushering towards agriculture 4.0. And what is this agriculture 4.0? Agriculture 4.0 is the age of precision agriculture. That means there is no, dot of a kind of a mistake or a chance of a mistake to be done, which is going to spoil the life. You have seen that in the news that many times the farmers committing suicide because their crop is damaged by the rain, or it is not damaged by the pest, or whatever it is. So how do we help the farmers do precision agriculture? Precision agriculture means that where whatever crop you're growing, firstly, you need to know what crop is best suitable for your land and the weather condition. And once you grow that, what kind of yielding you are expecting. Whatever prediction you do, you get that. there is all challenges are met by prediction, proper prediction. So the central idea behind the precision agriculture is that farmland is not a homogeneous. In India, people don't do soil testing. They just grow the crop because everybody is growing that, or they maybe from generation they're growing that. So there is no soil testing done. There is the soil condition, the pesting condition, the water condition, nothing is measured. But today the scenario is changing because of a lot of government program intervening into that. So if there is there are a lot of micro conditions which has to be observed in order to yield a good crop. And the benefit what the farmers get out of it, that whatever is the input they are using in terms of water, in terms of chemical, which result in both good crop quality and profit. So now agriculture 4.0 uses the technologies like computer vision. They use the IoT devices like sensors and all. They use robotic, and they come out with a better capability of the the farming, the crop yielding. So these technologies are deployed even on the ground and on the sky. So we will see how it is done. So there's a company called John Deere. John Deere is a company which is basically in the tractor. They are the number one tractor. So this John Deere company is developed a smart tractor and smart harvesters. So the camera to the tractor take the picture of everything which they see in the underneath. Okay. Okay. So you can see that, okay, fine, this I'm not reaching. So what happens is, these are smart tractor which doesn't require any driver or the farmer to be there on the tractor. It can work in day and night. So the farmer can take a rest and control the tractor through their mobile phone. I'll show you a video on that. So what happens here in this case is the data. There are a lot of sensors which are there in the tractor. These IoT sensors are embedded also in the soil. So I'll just show you that. So what happens? These IoT sensors which are embedded in the soil, they take the data like what is the moisture level in the system, what is the level of nutrition like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which is used for controlling the application of fertilizers. In the sky, they also use something called drones. Okay, so this is irrigation system. The grain management system, they can find out the grain qualities and all. The soil monitoring using the moisture level and the nutrition level using the IoT. Then they have in the sky, they have the drones. These drones can do the target irrigation, target pesticide control, target fertilizing. So these are all targeted, specific, not the entire thing is done. So they have tank and nozzles, which will spray the fertilizer and pesticides only to the infected pesticide to the infected plant or infected area. Fertilizer wherever it is required, not all one size fit for all. So this is called intelligent farming machines with the help of IoT, AI, all kinds of cameras which take the picture and give. And AI does a kind of predictive analytics to make the farmer do a better forecasting, get a proper potential crop yield. Okay. So you can go to John Deere company. In India, it has not come, but then still it is a best. So I'll just show the video on this.
When you start out in the spring, you work the soil, and it just smells so fresh. When you till it up, and it's just the greatest smell. When I started farming, there basically was no technology. One was wrong, you would lose the line. Darkness, you couldn't see your marks. Moisture, you couldn't see your mark. Then you'd get squiggly rows. My name is Doug Nems. I'm a farmer from Blue Earth, Minnesota. I'm a fourth generation farmer, and I raise approximately 2,000 acres of corn and soybeans. I really never thought I would see an autonomous tractor in my farming career. For me, it was really exciting the first time I got to take the autonomous tractor to the field, swipe my phone, watch the tractor start with no one in the cab, start doing tillage, come to the end of the field, turn on the end, do the tillage just as well as I can do myself with no one in the cab. I can pull up the app, I can monitor the tractor, see how much of the field it's gotten tilled, I can check the fuel level, I can check the app to see how much of the field is left. If there was something in the field that it wasn't sure about, the tractor will stop and alert me. Is this something I can go around? Do I need to go out and remove an object from the field? The app gives me all this information so I can monitor everything very closely. On farms, labor is always a challenge. We need labor for lots and lots of hours for short periods of time. The auto steer and technology has helped reduce our labor load, which makes my life a lot easier. Autonomy will help because we fit.
So you can see that the tractor is driving on its own. It is controlled by the farmer. The farmer can, and it is a precision farming because see, it is going in straight line and toiling the land, sowing the seed, all those kinds of stuff is done. And it also has a kind of a system where it recognizes the area in which it has to toil. It will not go to the neighboring farmer field and do that. And a lot of sensors, through the sensors which has and the camera, it can control the farming. The farmer can control the farming from anywhere. So it saved them money by employing a lot of farmers on that. So let's see more.
It excites me the most. Farmers are fairly traditional.
Show you the drones. These drones are also from John Deere company. How it is basically targeting the plant which is suffering from pest, and only those plants are pest because other plant will get affected if they don't have pest and you spray the pesticides on it. Then similar way the fertilizer spraying evenly, uniformly, and it is without any human intervention. If I say identify the area that targeted the camera it will be identifying and it will just go within the So now what government, this is, you can say, ma'am, this is all about advanced country doing this, maybe Europe and all. But what about India? The Indian company is also investing a lot. Let me tell you, Indian company, the government, during 2020 or 2021, they allocated a fund, even in 2022, allocated a fund of more than 1,700 crores. And I heard that this time they have allocated a fund of more than 2,000 crores. For all the state to introduce new technology, including drones, artificial intelligence, remote sensing, GIS in agriculture. And government is allocating another fund of about 7,000 crores in 2022 to a research company called ICAR. ICAR is called Indian Agriculture Research Institute. This is for undertaking research and development in agriculture for developing new technology and demonstrating at a cheaper cost to the farmers and building a farming in India. So what they have done is this ICAR RSD has now collaborated with Microsoft, and they have come out in to help the farmers in Karnataka, in Andhra Pradesh, in Madhya Pradesh, in Maharashtra and Telangana. They have come out with something called the AI sowing app, which is powered by Cotton. Let me show you that app. Okay, this is not the one. Okay, so this app description is given, shown in the slide. So what this app does it, the farmer just need to install this app and they don't charge farmer anything on this. This is all sponsored by the government. So the app send a sowing advisor to the farmers. They will tell them that which is the optimal date depending on the weather condition and everything, which they get the data from the satellite, and they tell when is the best time for sowing. The farmer also need to install sensor, which they get it from Microsoft free of cost in their field, which will tell them that in their phone they get a text message about the nutrition need, the aggregation need of the crop at that certain time, and they tell you what is the kind of irrigation need which is needed. So this technology is on the cloud platform of the Microsoft, and they also leverage the data from satellite imagery. They use advanced analytics and AI, and they show the advisory to farmers. They send the text messages. In a sense, they help these farmers. So, one more case which I wanted to tell you is about one of the app called Fasal, which was started. It is a startup company by Mohammed Fasal, and he started this company and he named it also as a Fasal. And this is a AI startup which basically helped the Indian farmer to do a better farming. And he is in Bangalore. So they started with a 7-member team. Not IIT graduate, engineers, and they came out with a kind of a product development, research and development, and customer support. They tried to hire the scientists and create the crowdfunding to help the farmers do smart agriculture. So they are helping the farmer to embed the sensor in the soil and use the AI technology at no cost or very low cost to monitor their crop in their smartphone, and also do the target fertilizing and pesticides. Okay, so this is one example. Let me see if I have a time to show you. Yeah, I have time. One more example I will show you. When I talk about agriculture students, there is one more very interesting example. And this is again done by the students who started a company, and now this company is very big. It's called Aquabyte. This Aquabyte is an AI company, and it started by the Princeton graduate, Brand Shank, and he started this company in US. But he started operating this company in Sweden. Now, this aquaculture company basically used the computer vision to help the aquaculture. That means fishing industry, fishing culture. That is also kind of agriculture only. So what they do is they use the collaboration between machine learning, marine biologists, and Norway. I'm not sorry, I told Sweden, it is Norway. And Norway is actually known for fish farming. One of the oldest and the popular farming for them is fish farming. And they are the world supplier of salmon fish, which is one of the most expensive fish. Okay. And so what happens, most of the people in the Norway is engaged in the fish farming. So Norwegian salmon farm is about pen. This you can see. So unlike in India, they have to actually hire this particular water area. They can't purchase because the water body is a government property. What they do is they hire this from the government, a particular farmer or the group of the farmer with a company, and they grow the salmon in this pen. The pen is a circular cylindrical area, which is, I'll show you in the video how it looks. And it normally, each farmer has 10 to 15 pen in a one particular area. And in this pen, it's like a football field. It looks very small, but it looks like a football field. It will hold around 200. Each pen will hold about 200,000 fish, salmon fish. But these people also have certain challenges, like when to feed the fish. Just like a dog, fish will eat anytime. And if fish eat fast more every time, then what happens? They may fall sick and their health get affected. Then the second problem is how healthy are the fish. One fish unhealthy, other fish get affected because all of them are in one pen. And what is the weight distribution of the fish? When it is best time to harvest, when the fish is fully, when to harvest in each fish. So this was certain kinds of challenges they had. So Aquabyte company, they hired the Aquabyte company to help them with this. Aquabyte company was to bring the power of data and machine learning to help the farmer answer these questions intelligently. and help them doing a smart agriculture or smart fish farm harvesting. So they used the technology of drones, again, just like they similar to the technology which I explained you, drones and the autonomous tractor. They also use the technology of computer vision and sensors to come out with an algorithm which is called the CNN, convolutional neural network algorithm, which can deal with computer vision data, the image data, and to train their AI model to come out with the expertise of marine biologist and help this farmer in answering those challenges which I told you. Okay, so the farmer, these farmers basically had to use, these are the other challenges which they have: lice count, which is like a pest. You know, the lice count on the sea body can infect the health of the sea, and they have to basically target the lice on the fish, not in the water. So that is, it was a very difficult process for them for 200,000 fish. Then to identify whether the fish is hungry, when to feed them, all those kind of stuff, and what is the feed required, and also the weight of the fish, when to harvest them. All these kinds of questions they wanted. So what they did was they Aquabite basically used the sensor and the camera which was put under in the pen, and this camera will rotate like a lidar, and 360-degree image it will take of all the fish there. The sensor will take the distance between the fish measurement, because the distance between the fish will reduce if the fish grow in size. And also the sensor will understand the number of lice on the fish body. And that helped them in doing the better harvesting. So I'll just show you a video on this.
Agricultural technologies have made farming much more productive, safe, and environmentally friendly. Innovative ideas and intriguing concepts. Here are 15 farming technologies that are next level. Number 15, Aquabite. Managing a large-scale fish farm is by no means.
You can see that this is a camera which is put in the pen, and this is the pen. In the pen you can see all this salmon fish, very expensive fish.
An easy task, and thanks to the fact that thousands of fish are typically kept in one pen, it can often be hard to determine many of the specifics surrounding one's fishy assets. However, Aquabite is trying to fix this problem by offering fish farms a high-tech camera-powered system that can pick up on not only how many fish are in a pen, but also how many sea lice are present, how much fish are eating, and how large the fish in the pen currently are. Aquabite can use this information to suggest feed amounts based on fish size and activity. This is useful because it takes guessing out of fish feeding and allows the fish farmers to make more informed decisions on how much food to give their fish. This ultimately leads to less wasted food and greater profit margins for the fish farmers, thus making it an all-around win-win situation.
Okay. So, any questions, students? Because I would not like to start with the finance and the business functional area. So I'll stop here and wait for the questions. Only 13 students are there. Okay, students, any questions? If you have. Okay, no? So you'll end up the session now? Goodbye.
Thank you, madam.